Welcome to the Revisewise Challenge Maths Quiz. The first half lasts an hour and covers numbers, fractions, percentages, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and how to use the calculator. The second hour covers problem solving, numbers and sequences, interpreting data, data handling, measures, shapes, space, and mental maths. The starting time for each topic is on the menu, so using the clock in the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can quickly find each topic. Each of these quiz units contains several questions. Now, some of the questions need a pencil and paper, so make sure your pupils have them to hand. The first question is about mass and weight. 4,200 grams is how many kilograms? For each question, there'll be a choice of answers, A, B, or C, like this. Is it A, 4.2 kilograms, B, 42 kilograms, or C, 420 kilograms? Have a think. That's your cue to pause the tape and see what answers your pupils come up with.
So what do you think the answer will be, A, B, or C?
You might even want to stop the tape for some more thinking time. You could even give them A, B, or C cards so you can judge the whole class's initial response. Or don't stop too long here, because next our maths team will give you some helpful hints on how to answer the question.
1 kilogram is the same as 1,000 of these grams.
Then we'll repeat the question. 4,200 grams is... Here you can stop the tape again and see what answer your pupils come up with this time.
So what's your final answer?
Finally, we explain which is the correct answer and go through some of the common mistakes. So the answer is 4.2 kilograms. Answer A.
Hands up those of you who got it right. Well done.
So, let's start the Revisewise Maths Challenge. The first program is about numbers and place value. Hello, and welcome to the first of the Revisewise Maths Challenge programs. I'll be asking you questions to help you with your maths revision, and the maths team will give you some tips on how to answer them. You can also use our books, our CD-ROM, our audio tapes, and our Revisewise website to help you with your maths revision. This program is all about numbers and place value. The first question is about how to write numbers. How do you write 24,006? A, B, or C? The number we're looking for again is 24,006. Have a think. Here are some clues from our maths team.
A digit has a different value depending on where it is in a number. Work out what the thousands, the hundreds, the tens and the units are in a number. Write them down separately.
So, what's your answer this time? So let's work out the answer. 24,006 is 24 thousands and 6 units. Answer A only has 2 thousands, 4 hundreds and 6 units, so that's not right. B has 24 thousands and 6 hundreds, no tens and no units, so that's not right either. C has 24 thousands, no hundreds, no tens, and 6 units. So that's the right answer. This question is about multiplying by 100. What is 16.9 multiplied by 100? Is it A, 169, B, 1,690, or C, 16,900? Have a think. Now here's the maths team with some clues to help you.
When multiplying whole numbers by 100, move the digits 2 places to the left and fill in the empty spaces with 2 zeros. Multiplying decimals is the same. You move all the digits 2 places to the left and fill the empty spaces with 2 zeros. Check that you've got the right amount of zeros and don't move the decimal points.
Back to our question. What is 16.9 multiplied by 100? Is it A, 169, B, 1,690, or C, 16,900? Have a think. Multiplying by 100 means moving the digits 2 places to the left and adding 2 zeros in their place. So let's do that to 16.9. Moving the digits 2 places to the left and putting the 2 zeros in gives us 1,690. See how the second zero goes in after the decimal point in place of the 0.9. So B is the right answer. You get 169 if you multiply 16.9 by 10, and you get 16,900 if you multiply 16.9 by 1,000. Here's a question about putting numbers in order. The crowds at 4 football matches were 22,947, 9,569, 22,002, and 10,064. Put the crowd figures in order, starting with the smallest. Here's the maths team with some tips.
It's easier to compare numbers when you put them all in columns. Make sure you line up the units, tens, hundreds and thousands properly.
To find the biggest number, first you look at the thousands, then the hundreds, then the tens, and then the units.
Here's the question again. The crowds at 4 football matches were 22,947, 9,569, 22,002, and 10,064. Put the numbers in order, starting with the smallest. Let's put the numbers in a column, making sure that the thousands, hundreds, tens and units line up. Now if we look at the thousands first, we see 9,000 is the smallest number. So 9,569 goes first. Then 10,000. So 10,064 is next. But 22,947 and 22,002 have the same number of thousands, 22. We have to look at the hundreds to see which of the two numbers is bigger. 22,947 has 9 hundreds, but 22,002 has no hundreds. So 22,002 is next, and 22,947 is biggest, so it goes last. How did you do? If you found any questions difficult, you can rewind the tape and try them again. Good luck with your revision. The next program is about fractions. Hello, and welcome to the Revisewise Challenge Maths Quiz. In this program, I'll be asking you questions to help you with your maths revision, and our maths team will give you some tips on how to get them right. This program is all about fractions. First, fraction names. We're going to cut a pizza into equal parts, and you can tell me what fractions it's been cut into. First one. It's cut into 2 parts. Each part is 1 over 2, or a half. And this? This has 4 equal parts. Each portion is 1 part over 4, or a quarter. This one. Six parts, so each is a 1/6. What about this? This pizza has been cut into 1/8. Now, put these fractions in order, starting with the largest first. 1/10, 1/3, 1/12, 1/5, 1/2. Now see if your answer fits with what the maths team is saying.
Dividing something in half means that it's split into 2 equal parts.
A third means it has 3 equal parts.
The more parts something is divided into, the smaller each part is.
The bottom number of a fraction tells you how many parts the whole has been divided into. It is called the denominator.
The bigger the denominator, the more pieces the whole has been divided into, and the smaller each piece is.
Put these fractions in order, starting with the largest. 1/10, 1/3, 1/12, 1/5, 1/2. Well, the biggest denominator is 12, which means the whole has been cut into 12 pieces, and so is the smallest fraction. Next is 1/10, which means the whole has been cut into 10 pieces, so each piece must be a little bigger than 1/12. Then comes 1/5. Each whole has been cut into 5, so these are bigger than 1/10. After that is 1/3, and the biggest fraction is 1/2. This one is about equivalent fractions. 2 fractions are equivalent if they're worth the same amount, even though they look different. Which of these fractions is equivalent to 1/3? Is it A, 2/6, B, 2/9, or C, 2/3? Think about it. Don't worry if you're not sure of the answer. Here's the maths team with some clues.
Equivalent fractions are the ones that are written differently but have the same value.
You can multiply or divide the denominator and numerator by the same number to get an equivalent fraction.
What's your answer this time? If we multiply top and bottom of 1/3 by 2, we get 2/6. So 2/6 is an equivalent fraction to 1/3. So A is the right answer. This question is about working out a fraction of an amount. There are 35 children in a class. 2/5 of the class are boys. How many girls are there in the class? Is it A, 21, B, 14, or C, 15? Well, here's the maths team with some clues to help you.
First, find out how many boys there are in the class.
To find a fraction of an amount, you need to divide by the denominator and multiply by the numerator.
Once you know how many boys there are, take this away from the total number of children in the class to find out how many girls there are.
Back to our question. There are 35 children in the class. 2/5 of the class are boys. How many girls are there in the class? Are there A, 21, B, 14, or C, 15? Let's work out the answer. If we have 2/5 boys, then the actual number of boys in the class is 35 divided by the denominator, that's 5, times the numerator. 5 into 35 is 7. 2 times 7 is 14. So we have 14 boys. That's answer B, but that's not the answer to the question. The question asks for the number of girls. So we take 14, the number of boys, from the number in the class, 35. So 35 take away 14 is 21. So the number of girls in the class is 21. So A is the right answer. How did you do? If you found any questions difficult, you can rewind the tape and try them again. The next program is about percentages. Hello and welcome to the Revisewise Challenge Maths Quiz. I'll be asking you maths questions, but don't worry, our maths team are here to help you answer them. This program is all about percentages. This question is about turning percentages into fractions. Which of these fractions is equivalent to 30%? Is it A, 1/30th, B, 30/100ths, or C, 10/30ths? Have a think. Now don't worry if you can't do it straight away. Here's the maths team with some clues.
Percent means out of 100.
To turn a percentage into a fraction, just put the percentage over 100.
So what's your answer? A, B, or C? %30 is 30 100ths, so answer B is correct. But you could simplify this by dividing top and bottom by 10 to give 3/10. This one is a bit harder. What percentage of the whole shape is shown by the shaded part? What percentage of the whole shape is shown by the shaded part? Take a good look. Is 40% shaded, 6% shaded, or 60% shaded? See if some clues from the maths team help.
Percentage means out of 100.
There are 10 blocks in the whole shape, so each block must be worth a tenth. That's 10% of the whole shape.
Count up how many of the blocks are coloured in. With each block worth 10%, that gives you the percentage.
Back to our question. What percentage of the whole shape is shown by the shaded part? Is it A, 40%, B, 6%, or C, 60%? There are 10 boxes, and because percent means out of 100, each box must be 10% of the whole. So 6% would be less than one of these boxes, so that's wrong. 40% would be 4 of these boxes, so that's wrong too. 60% would be 6 shaded boxes, which is what we've got, 60%. So the answer is C. Next, finding the percentage of an amount. What is 20% of 600 grams? What is 20% of 600 grams? A, 120 grams, B, 30 grams, or C, 12 grams? Stop and think about it. Here are the maths team with some clues to help you.
With percentages of means multiply.
To find a percentage of something, turn the percentage into a fraction.
You do this by putting it over 100.
Then multiply by the fraction.
Back to our question. What is 20% of 600 grams? A, B, or C? Well, 20% as a fraction is 20 hundredths. To find 20 hundredths of 600, we multiply 600 by 20 hundredths. Before calculating this, let's simplify the numbers. 100 goes into 600 6 times. 6 times 20 is, well, 2 6s are 12, and add a 0. 120 grams. So the answer is 120 grams, or answer A. Last question, and this one's a bit trickier. In a sale, a coat that normally costs £45 is reduced by 10%. What is the new price of the coat in the sale? I'll read it again because there's a trick in it. In a sale, a coat that normally costs £45 is reduced by 10%. What is the price of the coat in the sale? A, £4.50, B, £40.5, or C, £40.50. So what's your answer? Let's see if the maths team can help.
First you need to find 10% of £45.
10% is the same as 1/10.
After you find 10%, take this away from the original price to get the sale price.
Time for your final answer. We know 10% is 1/10, and to find a tenth, we divide by 10. 45 divided by 10 is 4.5. Now that's how much the coat is reduced by, answer A, but that's not the answer. To find the new reduced cost of the coat in the sale, we take 4.5 from 45. Counting on, 4.5 to 5 is 0.5. Then 5 to 45 is 40. So we add 40 to 0.5, which is 40.5. But because this is a money question, the answer is £40.50. So C is the right answer. How did you do? If you found any of the questions difficult, you can rewind the tape and have another look at them. And good luck with your revision. The next program is about addition. Hello, and welcome to the Revisewise Challenge Maths Quiz, the program that helps you with your maths revision. Now, this program is all about addition. Which two numbers add up to 121? A, 66 and 65, B, 74 and 47, or C, 59 and 72. Try these additions in your head, and don't forget you can add the numbers in any order. Adding tens and units separately might make the sums easier, or you could round numbers up or down. Let's work out the answer. Adding 66 and 65 is the same as adding 60 and 60 and 6 and 5. Two 60s are 120 and 6 and 5 are 11. So the total is 131. So A is wrong. You can make 59 added to 72 easier by rounding 59 up to 60. 60 plus 72 is 132. The take off the 1 gives 131. So C is wrong. 74 and 47 is the same as adding 71 and 50. 70 and 50 is 120, and one more makes 121. So B is the right answer. This one involves adding decimals together. What is the sum of 3.4 and 6.7? Listen to the question again. What is the sum of 3.4 and 6.7? Is it A, 10.01, B, 9.11, or C, 10.1? Now, before you have a go at working out the answer, let's go to the maths team for some hints.
It's easier to add up decimals by writing them down in columns.
When you add up in columns, line up the decimal points.
What's your answer? Let's see if you got it right. Line up the decimal point, then add the numbers in the 10th column, 4 and 7. That's 11 tenths, or 1 unit and 1/10. Write down the 10th and carry the 1 unit to the units column. 3 and 6 is 9, add 1 is 10. So the answer is 10.1, answer C. Now if you got answer B, 9.11, you might have added up the 4 and the 7 and put down 11 instead of writing down 1 and carrying 1. Next question. This question is about adding bigger numbers. What is the total weight of these 3 parcels, weighing 352 grams, 108 grams, and 93 grams? Well, here's the maths team with some clues to help you.
You could add the numbers in your head.
Or you could write them down.
If you add them up in your head, add up the hundreds, then tens, then units to make it easier.
If you write it down, make sure you line up the hundreds, tens and units correctly.
Before you add them up, make an estimate.
What's your answer now? The weights are about 350 grams and 100 grams and 100 grams. This adds up to 550 grams. But let's work it out properly. First, in our heads, it's 352 plus 108 plus 93. 300 plus 100 equals 400. 50 and 90 equals 140. 2 plus 8 plus 3 equals 13. Add 400 to 140 and then add 13 equals 553. Now here's how to do it by the written method. 2, 3 and 8 is 13. That's 3 units, carry 1 10. 5 and 9 is 14. Add 1 is 15. 5 tens carry 100. 3 and 1 is 5. So the answer is 553. How did you do? If you had any difficulties with the questions, rewind the tape and have another look at them. And good luck with your revision. The next program is about subtraction. Hello and welcome to the Revisewise Challenge Maths Quiz. Now this program is all about subtraction. First question, what is the difference between 92 and 47? See if some clues from the maths team help.
What is the difference between means subtract?
Try counting on in your head for this one.
Imagine a number line with 47 at the beginning and 92 at the end. Count on from 47 to 92 to find out the difference.
Back to our question. What is the difference between 92 and 47? You can do this one in your head by counting on from 47 to 92. Stop and think about it. Difference between means subtract. So this is a subtraction sum. Let's do it by counting on in our heads. Add 3 to 47 to get 50. Then 40 more to get 90. And finally 2 more to get 92. So that's 3 and 40 and 2, which is 45. So the answer is 45. I'm thinking of a number. If I subtract 16 from it, I get 49. What is my number? You don't have to get it right first time. Let's go to the maths team for some hints.
Some questions that look like subtractions can be made into additions.
You can think of a number line.
Or a number square. If we add 16 to this number, it will equal the number thought of.
Remember, this subtraction may need addition to get it right. So, what's your answer? If I subtract 16 from the number I think of and get 49, then adding 16 to 49 will give me the number I thought of. 49 and 16 is the same as 50 and 15, which is 65. Let's check the answer by using the number square. Our pupil starts on square 49 and walks 1 square to 50. She then walks 10 squares from 50 to 60. At this stage, she's walked 11 squares and she has 5 more to go. Finally, she walks the last 5 squares to square 65, so proving that adding 16 to 49 makes 65. You may want a pencil and paper for this next one. What is 407 subtract 169? Here are the maths team with some clues to help you.
You could try the rounding method to make this subtraction easier.
You could count on from 169 to 407.
If the numbers are too difficult for the mental maths, then write it down.
What's your answer now? Let's do this by using a number line and counting on. 169 add 1 is 170. Then 30 more to 200. 200 to 400 is 200. Then another 7 to 407. 1 and 30 and 207 is 238. That's all the questions for this programme. Don't forget, you can rewind the tape and have another look if you found any difficult. And good luck with your revision. The next programme is about multiplication. Hello and welcome to the Revisewise Challenge Maths Quiz. Now this programme is all about multiplication. Do these multiplications in your head. What's 6/8? 48. 7 6s? 42. What's 9 9s? 81. 7 9s? 63. This one's a bit harder. What's 36 times 4? Have a think. "36 times 4 is the same as 30 times 4 plus 6 times 4. 30 times 4, 3 times 4 is 12, so add the 0, 120. 6 times 4 we know is 24. So the total is 120 plus 24, which is 144. How did you do? On to the next question. You might need a pencil and paper for this question. What is the missing digit in 40-something times 6 equals 288. Again, what is the missing digit in 40-something times 6 equals 288? Is it A, 4, B, 6, or C, 8? You don't have to get it right straight away. Let's go to the maths team for some hints.
6 lots of something must equal 288.
If we divide 288 by 6, it will give us the missing number.
So what's your answer? So if 6 lots of something are 288, one lot must be 288 divided by 6. 6's into 28 goes 4, which is 24. 24 from 28 is 4. Bring down the 8. 6's into 48 goes 8. So 6's into 288 is 48. And so 8 is the missing digit, and C is the right answer. What is the area of this rectangle? It has one side 70 centimetres long and another 43 centimetres long. What is the area of this rectangle? A, 301 centimetres squared, B, 3010 centimetres squared, or C, 113 centimetres squared? So, what's your answer? A, B, or C? Well, here are the maths team with some clues to help you.
To calculate the area of a rectangle, you need to multiply the length by its width.
How you do the multiplication is up to you. Don't forget to do an estimate first.
What's your answer now? First, make an estimate. 43 times 70 is roughly 40 times 70. 4 times 7 is 28, so 40 times 70 is 2,800. So that's the estimate, and already we can see which answer is right. Let's now find out the precise answer. We know from our estimate that 40 times 70 is 2,800. All we have to do now is multiply 3 times 70, which is 210. So 43 times 70 is 2,800 plus 210, which is 3,010 centimetres squared. Answer B. If you got 113 centimetres squared, answer C, you added 70 and 43 together instead of multiplying. Last question. A plant costs £3.45. What is the total cost of 5 of these plants? A plant costs £3.45. What is the total cost of 5 of these plants? Don't worry if you're stuck. Here's the maths team with some tips.
You can do this by the written method, but watch out for the decimal points.
To multiply by 5, you can multiply by 10, then half the answer.
Make an estimate before you do your maths so that you can check your answer.
Time for your final answer. Firstly, make an estimate. If the plant costs £3, 5 would cost £15. If they cost £4, then 5 would cost £20. So the answer must be between £15 and £20. If one plant costs £3.45, then 10 plants must cost, well, to multiply by 10, I move the digits one place to the left and a 0 fills the empty place. That's £34.50. We only want 5, so half of this is, well, half of 50 pence is 25 pence, and half of 34 is 17. So the answer is £17.25. How did you do? If you had any difficulties with the questions, rewind the tape and have another look at them. And good luck with your revision. The next program is about division. Hello and welcome to the Revisewise Challenge Maths Quiz. In this program I'll be asking you questions all about division. Look at this division sum. Something divided by 4 equals 8. What is the missing number? Is it A, 2, B, 32, or C, 16? Have a think. Now see if some clues from the maths team help.
Even though this looks like a division sum, you can use multiplication to work out the answer.
The sum says something divided by 4 is 8, so 4 lots of 8 must equal the missing number.
So the answer must be bigger than 8.
Stop and think again. Something divided by 4 is 8. So we have 4 parts, all worth 8, making one whole something. Now the opposite of division is multiplication, and in maths we call them inverse operations. So if something divided by 4 is 8, the inverse operation is that 8 multiplied by 4 equals the same something. 8 times 4 is 32. So B is the right answer. Now if you got A, 2, then you divided 8 by 4 instead of multiplying it. This question is about which numbers divide into other numbers, divisibility rules. Which of these numbers can be divided by 3? A, 316, B, 204, or C, 533. What's your answer? Now you don't actually have to do the division to find out if 3 goes into a number. Here's the maths team to tell you a quicker way.
If the sum of the digits that make up a number is divisible by 3, then the number itself is also divisible by 3.
So, what's your answer? A, B, or C? Time to stop and think. Let's take the numbers one by one. The sum of the digits of 316 is 3, and 1, and 6. That's 10. But 10 is not divisible by 3. So 316 is not divisible by 3 either. So answer A must be wrong. Now the next number, 204. Adding up the digits 2 and 0 and 4 is 6, which is divisible by 3. So we know that 204 is divisible by 3 too, which means B must be the right answer. What about 533? There are certainly lots of 3's in it, but 5 and 3 and 3 add up to 11, which isn't divisible by 3. So 533 isn't divisible by 3 either. Now here's the maths team with some more quick division tricks.
If a number is even, it It is divisible by 2. If a number ends in a 0, it's divisible by 5 and 10. If a number ends in 5, it must be divisible by 5.
So try these without actually doing the division. Is 45 divisible by 5? Yes, because it ends in a 5. Is 32 divisible by 2? Yes, because it's an even number. Is 105 divisible by 10? No, it ends in a 5, not a 0, so it's not divisible by 10. Next question. What is 876 divided by 6? What is 876 divided by 6? We're here at the maths team with some clues to help you.
If the numbers are too difficult for the mental maths, then write it down.
So what's your answer now? To start with, write 876 divided by 6 as a long division. 6 into 800 goes 100 times. 100 times 6 is 600. Subtract 600 from 876, leaves 276. The nearest number of times that 6 will go into 270 is 40. 40 times 6 is 240. Take 240 from 276 and we're left with 36. 6 times 6 is 36, and when we take this away from the original 36, it leaves 0. So the final answer is 146. That's it on division. If you found any difficult, you can rewind the tape and try the questions again. And good luck with your revision. The next program is about using the calculator. Hello and welcome to the Revisewise Maths Challenge. Now this program is all about using the calculator. Now in the test there are 2 maths papers, and in one of them you can use a calculator, so it's important you know how to use one properly. Now for a problem about money. Calculate £372 divided by 8. Calculate £372 divided by 8. Is it A, £46.5, B, £46.50, or C, £2,976? So, what's your answer? Have a think. Here are some clues from our maths team on how to answer it.
Do an estimate before you use the calculator.
When you start a sum on the calculator, always press the clear button first. When you do a money problem, give the answer to 2 decimal places to show how many pence there are.
So, what's your answer this time? So, let's work out the answer. Do our estimate first. We know 4 times 8 is 32, so 40 times 8 is 320, and 5 times 8 is 40. So 50 times 8 is 400. So the answer must be between 40 and 50. Now let's use the calculator. We put in 372 divided by 8 equals 46.5, which fits between our estimate of 40 and 50. But that's not the answer. Look at the question again. It says calculate £372 divided by 8. The answer is in money, so we must give it to 2 decimal places. So the answer is £46.50, or B. If you got C, you must have multiplied instead of divided. Maybe you pressed the wrong key. Now, doing an estimate would have shown you something was wrong. On to the next question. Here's a question about using your calculator to turn fractions into decimals. What is 3/8 as a decimal? What is 3/8 as a decimal? Is it A, 24, B, 0.38, or C, 0.375? So, what's your answer? Don't worry if you're a bit stuck. Here's the maths team with some tips.
To turn a fraction into a decimal, divide the numerator by the denominator.
A denominator is the number on the bottom.
The numerator is the number on top.
What's your answer now? To do this question, we divide the numerator by the denominator. So, first let's clear the calculator. Next, the numerator, 3, divided by the denominator, 8, equals 0.375. So the answer is C. If you got 24, you must have pressed the multiply button instead of the divide button. But you know 24 is wrong, because 3/8 of something must be less than 1. Next question. This next one is about how to use the calculator's memory buttons. Calculate the answer to 234 divided by 3 plus 0.8 times 14. I'll repeat that. Calculate the answer to 234 divided by 3 plus 0.8 times 14. Here's the maths team with some clues to help you.
Do this question in 3 stages. Work out the sums in each of the brackets first.
Then add the brackets together.
So what's your answer now? Clear the calculator first and work out the first bracket. 234 divided by 3 equals 78. Press M+ to put this number in the memory. Now let's do the second bracket. 0.8 times 14 equals 11.2. Now press M+ again to add this to our first number in the memory. And press MRC to recall what's in the memory. And the answer is 89.2. That's the last of the questions on using the calculator. Good luck with your revision. The next program is about problem solving. Hello, and welcome to the Revisewise Maths Challenge. Now, this program is all about problem solving. Here's the first question. Listen carefully. In a 2,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, 17 pieces are taken away. How many jigsaw pieces are there left in the puzzle? Listen again. In a 2,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, 17 pieces are taken away. How many jigsaw pieces are there left in the puzzle? We can get some clues from our maths team. Here they are.
The first thing to do is to listen to or read the question.
Next, you need to work out what maths to use.
Then you need to do the maths.
Finally, read the question again so you know what it is asking you.
Back to our question. In a 2,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, 17 pieces are taken away. How many pieces are there left in the box? We've read the question, so next, decide what maths to use. If it's a 2,000-piece puzzle, but 17 have been taken away from the 2,000, then we must subtract 17 from 2,000. That's the maths. Now we do the maths. 17 from 2,000. Well, we can do it in our heads. That's 1,983. And finally, we answer the question. The number of pieces in the box is 1,983. Take this question slowly. Hannah buys a saxophone. She makes a first payment of £245. And then she agrees to pay further payments of £40 per month for 12 months. How much will she pay altogether for the saxophone? I'll repeat that. Hannah buys a saxophone. She makes a first payment of £245 and then agrees to pay further payments of £40 per month for 12 months. How much will she pay altogether for the saxophone? A, £725, B, £480, or C, £625. So, what's the answer? Here is the maths team with some clues to help you.
Find out how much she spends over 12 months.
Then add the first payment to get the answer.
What's your answer now? If we read the question, it tells us that Hannah makes a first payment of £245 and then pays £40 a month for 12 months. So we need to work out how much she pays in 12 months and then add that onto the first payment. To work out how much she pays in 12 months, we multiply 40 by 12, which is 480. Now that's answer B, but it's not the right answer because we still have to add the £245 first payment. 480 and 245 is 725. If we look at the question again, it asks how much does she pay in total? So the answer must be in pounds. So it's £725, which is A. This is another question about shopping. Kizzy has £20. What change does she have if she buys a basketball for £6.80 and 6 tennis balls at 90p each? Listen to the question again. What change does Kizzy have from £20 if she buys a basketball for £6.80 and 6 tennis balls at 90p each? A, £12.20, B, £8.80, or C, £7.80? What's your answer? Don't worry if you're a bit stuck. Here's the maths team with some tips.
Remember the 4 separate stages to solving a problem.
Read the question.
Work out the maths you need to use.
Do the maths and answer the question.
Work out how much 6 tennis balls cost. Add this to the price of a basketball.
Take this amount away from £20 for the answer.
What's your answer now? The question asks for the change from £20 for a basketball and 6 tennis balls. First, we can work out how much we spend, which is 6 times 90p for the tennis balls plus £6.80 for the basketball. We need to add these together to get the total amount spent, and then take that away from £20 to get the answer. Let's do the maths. Tennis balls first. 6 times 90p. Well, if we call it 6 times £1, that's £6. Then take off 6 times 10p, 60p, to give £5.40. Add the cost of the basketball, which is £6.80, and you get £12.20. So we've spent £12.20, which is answer A, but that's not the right answer. The question asks how much change is there from £20. So we have to take £12.20 from £20. Let's do this by counting on. £12.20 to £13 is 80p, and then £13 to £20 is £7. So the change is £7.80, which is answer C. How did you do? If you found any questions difficult, you can rewind the tape and try them again. You can practice more problem solving anytime you go shopping. Good luck with your revision. The next program is about numbers and sequences. Hello, and welcome to the Revisewise Maths Challenge. This program is all about numbers and number sequences. Here's the first question. Listen carefully. Which of these are prime numbers? 5, 8, 14, 21, 23, 27. Which of these are prime numbers? A, 5, 21, 23 and 27. B, 5 and 23. Or C, 8 and 14. What's your answer? Let's get some clues from our maths team. Here they are.
A prime number is a number with only 2 factors, itself and 1.
A number is not a prime number if other numbers can divide into it.
There are shortcuts to find out if some numbers divide into other numbers.
A number is divisible by 2 if it is even.
A number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits is divisible by 3.
A number is divisible by 5 if its last digits are 5 or 0.
What's your answer this time? Let's look at each number in turn. 5 is divisible by 1 and 5 only, so it's a prime number. So the answer could be A or B. Next, 8 is an even number, and so it's divisible by 2, and it's not a prime. So is 14, so answer C must be wrong. We know 21 is divisible by 3 because the sum of its digits are divisible by 3, so it's not a prime number. 23 is divisible by 1 and 23, but nothing else, so it's a prime. Finally, 27 is not a prime because 3 and 9 go into it. So the 2 prime numbers are 5 and 23, so answer B is the right answer. Here's a series of numbers what is the next number in this sequence? 2, 5, 9, 14, something. Once again, what is the next number in this sequence? 2, 5, 9, 14, something. If you're not sure, here's the maths team with some hints.
Work out what happens to each number to get the next number in the sequence. This is the rule.
Don't just look at the first two or last two numbers. Look at all of them. When you find the rule, apply it to the last number to get the missing number.
So, what's the answer? The first number is 2. We can add 3 to get the next number, 5. But adding 3 to 5 gives 8, not 9. So that's not the rule. We have to add 4 to 5 to get 9. And then to get 14, we have to add 5. In this sequence, we have to add 3, then 4, then 5. The number we add goes up 1 each time. To get the next missing number, we have to add 6. And 6 added to 14 is 20. This question is about replacing numbers with letters. Take it slowly. If y plus 4 equals 11, what is the value of y times 3? What is the value of y times 3? Is it A, 7, B, 21, or C, 45? Have a think. Here's the maths team to help you.
First, find out what y is.
If y plus 4 is 11, then y must be less than 11.
The difference between 11 and 4 is y.
When you know what y is, you can work out what y times 3 is.
Don't forget, find out what y is first, then make sure you answer the question. What is y times 3? What's your answer now? If y plus 4 equals 11, then y must equal the difference between 11 and 4, which is 7. Answer A. But that's not the answer to the question. The question asks what y times 3 is, which is 7 times 3, which is 21. Answer B. That's it for number sequences. If you found any questions difficult, you can rewind the tape and try them again. Good luck with your revision. The next program is about interpreting data. Hello, and welcome to the Revisewise Maths Challenge. This program is all about interpreting data. That's understanding the different ways you can show information, such as in tables or graphs. Here's the first question. Look carefully at this pictogram. It shows the number of mini-beasts found in different habitats in a pond. The question is, how many mini-beasts are found on the pond bed? Is it A, 3.5, B, 40, or C, 35? Stop and think. Here are some clues from our maths team.
In a graph or pictogram, make sure you read all of the parts, the title, the description of both axes, the key, and the contents.
Look for the row that tells you about mini beasts on the pond bed. Use the key to find out how many mini beasts each picture represents.
Back to our question. This pictogram shows the number of mini beasts found in different habitats in a pond. How many mini beasts are found on the pond bed? The pictogram shows the number of mini beasts found in different habitats in a pond. It tells us that in the title. Down the left-hand side, we can see all the different habitats, and second down is on pond bed. So that's the row we want to look at. Reading along that row, there are 1, 2, 3.5 little pictures shown. But this is not the answer. The key also tells us that one picture of a creature represents 10 actual mini beasts, and half a picture represents 5. So if we have 3.5 pictures, the 3 means we have 3 times 10 creatures, which is 30, and the half means we have 5 more. So that's 35. So the answer is C. Answer A, 3.5, is wrong because it's the number of pictures, not the number of mini beasts. This graph shows the number of televisions sold from a shop each month for 6 months. And here are some questions about the graph. In which month were the most televisions sold? Well, the most televisions sold would be the tallest bar, so that's June. In which month were the least televisions sold? The least televisions would be the smallest bar, so that's April. In which month were more televisions sold, January or May? Well, the bar for May is taller than the bar for January, so more televisions were sold in May. Finally, in which month were 50 televisions sold? Here's the maths team to help you.
Calculate the value of each mark.
In this graph, the value of each mark must be 10.
Find the 50 mark and read across.
Remember, look at all the labels and read off how much each bar stands for on the vertical axis. So, if we look at the vertical axis, it tells us the number of televisions sold. This is 40 televisions, and this is 60 televisions. So this mark in the middle must be 50 televisions. Now, following a straight line from 50, we see the bar at February is the same height. So 50 televisions were sold in February. This question is about pie charts. Now, this pie chart shows the types of shoes worn by a group of 24 children. Estimate how many children wore shoes with buckles. Once again, this pie chart shows the shoe types worn by a group of 24 children. Estimate how many children wore shoes with buckles. Here's the maths team with some tips.
This kind of chart is known as a pie chart because it looks like a pie cut into slices.
The size of each slice represents how many children wear each type of shoe.
Find out what fraction of the pie represents children with buckles.
Then work out this fraction of the 24 children.
Find out what fraction of the pie is buckles. Then find this fraction of the 24 children in the class. What's your answer? The pie has been cut into half, with lace-ups on one side and all other shoes on the other. This half has been cut into half again, that's into quarters, with 1 quarter wearing slip-ons. The other quarter has been cut into half again. That's into eighths for Velcro and buckles. 1/8 of the pie is buckles, so 1/8 of the children had buckled shoes. So we need to find 1/8 of 24. That's 24 divided by 8. 8 into 24 is 3, so 3 is the answer. 3 children in the class had buckles. That's it for interpreting data. Get some practice looking at line graphs, bar charts and pie charts in newspapers and work out what they're telling you. Good luck with your revision. The next program is about data handling. Hello, welcome to the Revisewise Challenge Maths Quiz. Now this program is about data handling, useful ways of presenting sets of figures. There are different ways of getting information from sets of figures. You can use the mode, which is the most frequent number, the median, which is the middle number, or the mean, which is the total of all the numbers divided by how many numbers there are. First, let's have a look at the mode. Here are some shoes of different sizes. What is the mode shoe size? What is the mode shoe size? Now don't worry if you're not sure how to work it out. Here's the maths team with some clues.
The mode is the number that comes up the most frequently in a set of numbers. Put the numbers in order first from smallest to biggest.
Then it is easier to see which number comes up the most.
Remember, the mode is the number that comes up most in a set of numbers. List the numbers in order, starting with the smallest to see which number comes up the most. So, what's your answer? Here's a list of the shoe sizes. 1 2, 3 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, and 1 6. Now we can see that there are 3 3s, more than any other number. So 3 is the most common number, and so 3 is the mode. Next, a question about the median.
You're 142 centimetres tall. You're 147 centimetres tall.
What is the median height of this group of children? 128 centimetres, 146 centimetres, 142 centimetres, 138 centimetres, 135 centimetres, 129 centimetres, and 146 centimetres. What is the median height of this group of children? Is it A, 146 centimetres, B, 142 centimetres, or C, 138 centimetres? What's your answer? See if some clues from the maths team help.
The median is the middle value of a set of numbers.
Sort the numbers into order, starting with the smallest.
Then pick the middle one. This is the median.
Remember, the median is the middle number. Put the heights in order to make it easier to find. The numbers in order are 128, 129, 135, 138, 142, 146, 146. We can see that the middle one is 138. So the median is 138 centimetres, which is the answer C. If you said A, 146, that's the mode, the number that comes up most. This question is about mean average. This table shows the number of caravans booked on a caravan site over 4 weeks. What is the mean average number of caravans per week for the 4 weeks? Here's the question again. What is the mean average number of caravans per week for the 4 weeks? Here is the maths team with some clues to help you.
To work out the mean, you need to work out the total number of caravans over all of the weeks.
And divide by the number of weeks.
Remember, to find the mean average, add up the total number of caravans and then divide by the number of weeks. What's your answer now? The table says there are 27, 32, 29 and 36 caravans. That all adds up to 124. And there are 4 weeks, so we divide by 4, which is 31. So the mean average is 31. If you found any of that difficult, you can always rewind the tape and try the questions again. Good luck with your revision. The next program is about measures. Hello, and welcome to the Revisewise Maths Challenge. This program is all about units of measurement. The first question is about mass and weight. 4,200 grams is how many kilograms? Once again, 4,200 grams is how many kilograms? Is it A, 4.2 kilograms, B, 42 kilograms, or C, 420 kilograms? Have a think. Here is the maths team with some tips.
1 kilogram is the same as 1,000 of these grams.
To convert from grams to kilograms, divide by 1,000.
Have a think. Let's work out the answer. We need to turn 4,200 grams into kilograms. So we need to divide 4,200 by 1,000. So move the digits 3 places to the right. Once, twice, 3 times, which is 4.2. So the answer is 4.2 kilograms. Answer A. Look at the level of liquid in this jug. How much liquid is there in it? Once again, how much liquid is in this jug? Is it A, 750 millilitres, B, 7 litres 50 millilitres, or C, 3? So, what's your answer? Time to stop and think. If you're not sure, here's the maths team with some hints.
Check out the scale on the jug.
Check out how many whole divisions there are.
Work out how much each small division between the numbers stands for.
Once you know how many divisions there are, you can find out the total amount of water.
So, what's your answer? If we look at the scale, we see it holds 1 litre, and it's been divided up into 4 parts, so these must be quarters of a litre. We know that there are 1,000 millilitres in a litre, so each division must be a quarter of this, or 250 millilitres. The liquid covers 3 of the quarter divisions, and 3 lots of 250 are 750. So the answer is 750 millilitres, or answer A. You might need a pencil and paper for this question. It's about areas. What is the area of this garden? Is it A, 139 square metres, B, 99 square metres, or C, 160 square metres? What's your answer? Here is the maths team with some clues to help you.
The area of a shape is the amount of surface it covers.
Split the shape into 2 rectangles. Find the area of each rectangle, then add them together.
The area of a rectangle is its length multiplied by the width.
So what's your answer now? If we make 2 rectangles like this, one rectangle has 2 sides, both 8 metres long, and the other rectangle has a side 5 metres and a side 15 minus 8 metres, which is 7 metres. So the area of this rectangle is 8 times 8, which is 64 square metres, and the area of this rectangle is 5 times 7, which is 35 square metres. So the total area must be 64 added to 35, which is 99 square metres. So the answer is B. Here's a question about time. A film starts at 7:45 p.m. It lasts for 90 minutes. What time does the film finish? A film starts at 7:45 p.m. It lasts for 90 minutes. What time does the film finish? A, 9 p.m. B, 8:15 p.m. or C, 9:15 p.m. What's your answer? Don't worry if you're a bit stuck. Here's the maths team with some tips.
There are 60 minutes in an hour. So there are 90 minutes in an hour and a half.
So add an hour and a half to 7:45 to find out what time the film finishes.
What's your answer now? There are 60 minutes in an hour, and so 90 minutes is an hour and a half. That's 60 plus 30. So adding 1 hour to 7:45 gives 8:45, and adding another half an hour gives 9:15. So the final answer is 9:15, which is answer C. How did you do? If you had any difficulties with the questions, rewind the tape and have another look at them. And good luck with your revision. The next program is about shapes. Hello and welcome to the Revisewise Challenge Maths Quiz. Now, this program is all about 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional shapes. Let's start with some quick questions about 2-dimensional shapes. Now, these are shapes that are flat and that you can draw on a piece of paper. How many sides does a triangle have? 3. How many sides does a square have? 4. How many sides does a pentagon have? 5. And how many sides does a heptagon have? 7. And here's a tricky one. How many sides does a quadrilateral have? Well, here are some quadrilaterals, and they all have 4 sides. They also have names of their own, like square, rectangle, parallelogram, and rhombus. Let's try this question. Which 2D shape am I describing? It has 4 equal sides. It has no right angles. Both pairs of opposite sides are equal. And both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So, is it A, a rhombus, B, a kite, or C, a trapezium? Now, if you're not sure of the answer, here's the maths team with some clues.
A right angle is 90 degrees like this. Parallel lines stay the same distance apart and never meet.
So, is it A, a rhombus, B, a kite, or C, a trapezium? Let's look at shape A, the rhombus. Does it have 4 equal sides? Yes. Does it have no right angles? Yes. Are its opposite sides equal? Yes. And are its opposite sides also parallel? Yes. So the answer is A, a rhombus. Let's check out answer B, the kite shape. A kite has pairs of equal sides that are next to each other, not opposite. It can have a right angle. And its opposite sides are not parallel. Answer C. A trapezium has only 1 pair of opposite sides that are parallel. And they don't have to be equal. It can also have a right angle. This question is about 3-dimensional shapes. Now, these are shapes that are solid and that you can hold. Imagine that you are holding a square-based pyramid. How many edges would it have? Is it A, 5, B, 6, or C, 8? Well, first, here are some useful facts about square-based pyramids from the maths team.
A square-based pyramid has a square base and a point at the top.
So, what's your answer? Is it A, B, or C? Let's have a closer look at a square-based pyramid and see if that helps. Here it is. See if you can count the edges. Well, the square base of the pyramid has 1, 2, 3, 4 edges. And going from the base to the top vertex of the pyramid are another 4 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4 edges. That's 4 on the base and another 4 on the sides, which adds up to 8 edges altogether, which is answer C. If you thought that it was answer B, 6 edges, then maybe you were thinking of a triangular-based pyramid. Now this has only 3 edges on its triangular-shaped base and another 3 edges up to its top vertex. making a total of 6 edges. This is a question about nets. A net is what a solid shape looks like when it's opened out, like this cube. Now here's your question. Which of these nets would make a triangular prism? Is it net A, net B, or net C? Try picturing in your mind the shape that each of these nets would make if it were folded into a solid shape. Let's see if the maths team can help us with the shape we're looking for.
Be sure about the difference between a pyramid
And a prism.
A pyramid has a base and it comes to a point.
A prism is the same all the way along.
If you slice across a pyramid, the new face gets bigger and bigger as you go down to its base.
And if you slice through a prism anywhere along its length, the new face will be the same as the original face.
So, back to our question. Which of these nets would make a triangular prism? Well, let's see what shape each of these nets will make. If we fold net A, we can see that it makes a square-based pyramid. But that's not the right answer, since the question asked what net would make a triangular prism. If we fold net B, we do get a sort of triangular prism, but we have a flap left over, so this isn't the right answer either. When we fold net C, we see that it does make a triangular prism. So the answer is C. That's it for shapes. But don't forget, you can always rewind the tape and try the questions again. So, good luck with your revision. The next program is about space. Hello, and welcome to the Revisewise Maths Challenge. Now, this program is all about moving and changing shapes. The first question is about symmetry. Here are 3 shapes. Which shape has 2 lines of symmetry? Well, let's go to the maths team for some clues that might help us with symmetry.
A shape has symmetry when it is folded in 2 and the 2 halves fit exactly over each other, like this.
The line of symmetry is the line of the fold that you've made.
Some shapes have more than one line of symmetry, like this.
You can check a line of symmetry by using a mirror.
So does that help you decide which of these shapes has 2 lines of symmetry? A, B, or C? Let's have a look at each shape in turn. Shape A first. We're looking for a line of symmetry, and that's where we can fold a shape in half so that the 2 halves exactly fit over each other. Like that. So there's one line of symmetry. But does this shape have another line of symmetry anywhere? It does. So shape A has 2 lines of symmetry. Now we can check that with a mirror, like this. Here is our shape, and it has 1 line of symmetry and another line of symmetry. What about shape B? Whichever way we fold shape B, the two halves never fit exactly over each other. So it has no lines of symmetry. What about shape C? Yes, it has one line of symmetry, but are there any others? No. Shape C has only one line of symmetry, so the answer to our question is shape A, because only shape A has two lines of symmetry. This question is about moving shapes. Look at this sequence of L shapes. Each one has been transformed or moved in a certain way from one position to the next. Can you work out the next shape in the sequence? Is it A, B, or C? Let's see if the maths team can help us.
Shapes can be moved by translation, reflection or rotation.
A translation is when you slide a shape like this or this. It can move in any direction, but it cannot be turned round or flipped over.
A reflection is when a shape is reflected in a mirror line. It looks like it has been flipped over.
A rotation is when a shape is rotated or turned around a point, like this.
You can check what a shape looks like when it's rotated by using tracing paper.
First, work out what type of transformation is happening. Is it a translation, a reflection, or a rotation? First, let's work out what the shape has done to get from position 1 to position 2. Well, it's not a translation because shape 1 is at a different angle from shape 2. What about a reflection? No, it's not a reflection because the two shapes still don't match. Let's try a rotation. Yes, it's a rotation. To change from position 1 to position 2, the L shape rotates through one right angle in an anti-clockwise direction. Let's check that with the next step in the sequence. Yes, it's another turn through one right angle in an anti-clockwise direction. So now you can work out what the final shape will be. A, B, or C. Let's see what we get if we rotate the shape one more right angle anti-clockwise. And that's the same as shape C. So shape C is the correct answer. Here's a question about coordinates on a graph. What do we call this point? Is it A, 4, 1, or B, 1, 4? Over to the maths team to remind us how to write the coordinates of a point.
The first number in a coordinate is the number taken from the x-axis.
The second number in a coordinate is the number taken from the y-axis.
The two numbers are written in brackets with a comma in between.
So now we know that, what are the coordinates of this point? A, 4, 1, or B, 1, 4? Well, our point is 1 along the x-axis and 4 up the y-axis. So we call it 1, 4. So it looks as if B is the right answer. But it's not quite, because we should write the two numbers in brackets with a comma in between. If you'd said A 4, 1, that would be 4 along the x-axis and 1 up the y-axis, which is a different point on the graph altogether. Here's another question about graph coordinates, but this time we've got some negative numbers to play with. So let's see how we get on. What are the coordinates of this point here? It's 2 along the x-axis and 3 up the y-axis. So its coordinates are 2, 3. Now, what are the coordinates of this point here? Think carefully. Remember, with coordinates, it's the x-axis number first, and then the y-axis number second. So it's 2 along the x-axis and -1 down the y-axis. So we write the coordinates 2, -1, in brackets with a comma in between them. Okay, so what are the coordinates of this point? Think carefully again. X-axis first, that's -2. Y-axis second, that's 3. So the coordinate is -2, 3, in brackets with a comma in between the numbers. And finally, what about the coordinates of this point here? X-axis first, -2, and y-axis second, -1. So the coordinate is -2, -1, in brackets with a comma between the numbers. And after all that, what have we got? It's a square. That's it for now, but don't forget you can rewind the tape and have another look at what we've done. And good luck with your revision. The next program is about mental maths. Hello, and welcome to the Revisewise Maths Challenge. Now, this program is all about mental maths, the maths you can do in your head.
Here is the practice question to show you what to do. What is 6?
In the mental maths test, you listen to the questions played from a tape.
What is 6 less than 25?
You work out the answers in your head and write them down on the paper.
Question 1. How many 20p pieces are there in £2?
For the rest of this program, we'll give you just a taste of the sort of questions you can expect in the mental maths test. This time, try to keep the tape running while you work out the answers to make it more like the real thing. Now, sometimes there'll be information on the screen to help you. So, off we go. What is 26 more than 50? What is 26 more than 50? "26 more than 50 is 26 plus 50, and that's 76. What is the approximate mass of an eating apple? 1 gram, 5 grams, 10 grams, 150 grams, or 1,000 grams? 1 gram, 5 grams, 10 grams, 150 grams, or 1,000 grams? The mass of an eating apple is about 150 grams. Look at this scale. What number is shown by the arrow? What number is shown by the arrow? There are 10 small divisions between 2.3 and 2.4, so each one must represent 1/100th. The arrow is pointing to 3/100ths more than 2.3, so it's pointing to 2.33. Multiply 60 by 50. Multiply 60 by 50. Six multiplied by 5 is 30, so 60 multiplied by 5 is 10 times that, 300. And 60 multiplied by 50 is 10 times that again, 3,000. Look at this bus timetable. How many minutes does the journey take from the church to the school? How many minutes does the journey take from the church to the school? It's at the church at 10:33 and at the school at 10:45. The journey time is the difference between those two times. Counting on, 10:33 to 10:40 is 7 minutes, and 10:40 to 10:45 is another 5 minutes. That's 12 minutes altogether. That's it for mental maths, but you can always rewind the tape and try the questions again. And don't forget, there are also our Revisewise books, audio tapes, and the website to help you as well. So, good luck with your revision.